Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the At-Risk International Global Risk Intelligence Insights. We are going to start this week taking a look at an ongoing protest event, actually today on June 13, and then, how that may affect the DC area and then also nationwide moving forward. So right now, at the time of this recording, there is an event taking place, a protest event outside of the United States Supreme Court. The event began at Stanton Park this morning and then resulted in a short march over to the court. Presently, they are occupying some of the area outside of the court to put pressure on the court to keep Roe v. Wade upheld. Back in May, there was a leak out of the Supreme Court indicating that due to an ongoing case, that the court may opt to strike down Roe v. Wade and issue an opinion on that. We are still waiting for an opinion moving forward. There's still nothing official, but right now the group is trying to make their message heard. There are a number of groups involved. It's organized by Shutdown DC. However, groups such as Extinction Rebellion are also present at the event. There are some counter-protesters present as well, but so far there are no signs of major violence or confrontations. Moving forward, protests are going to be highly likely in the lead up to the official ruling. There's not an exact date for when this ruling is going to be handed down by the Supreme Court. However, due to the session parameters, it's going to be sometime soon over the next few weeks here. For example, today on June 13th, this is an opinion issuance day. So it's possible that the ruling may even come as soon as today. If that were to happen, particularly given the crowd already present, that obviously greatly increases the risk of even larger protests. And if abortion rights are to be negatively affected by the ruling, we can expect to see more significant protests. And in addition, though there are no specific calls for violence in a major way, given the emotional nature of the issue for a lot of folks involved, the likelihood of violence, perhaps via property damage, or vandalism, maybe minor clashes with police or with counter protests, the risk for that is elevated if abortion rights, again, are negatively affected in any way. So that is something we will be continuing to watch for this event today and moving forward here over the next couple of weeks. And now I'm going to pass it over to Roman Fisher, who will discuss some other protests and civil unrest developments.
Thank you, Cooper. Good morning, everybody. On Saturday in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, the police there arrested 31 members of the white nationalist group Patriot Front. The group were found packed in the back of a U-Haul truck wearing riot gear. All 31 have been charged with conspiracy to riot, which is a misdemeanor in Idaho. And all are expected to be arraigned sometime today. Of those arrested, nearly all came from other states. Only one was from Idaho. States include Washington, Oregon, Texas, and as far away as Illinois, Arkansas, and Virginia. The Coeur d'Alene police chief, Lee White, had said that it was clear to him and his department that based on the gear that the individuals had in their possession, that they had intended to riot downtown. Police also seized paperwork showing the group's plan to interrupt the Pride event that was scheduled that weekend, and also to cause rioting in the downtown area. According to the Southern Poverty Law Center, Patriot Front is a white nationalist hate group that formed after the deadly Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, back in 2017. Patriot Front focuses on theatrical rhetoric and activism that can be distributed as propaganda. The group's manifesto also calls for the formation of a white ethno-state. The Patriot Front is a Texas-based alt-right group led by 24-year-old Thomas Ryan Rousseau. The group had split from Vanguard America, another white nationalist group, back in August 2017. The Patriot Front is responsible for most of the white supremacist propaganda distributed in the United States, and it represents about 80% of all white nationalist propaganda nationally, at least according to statistics that came out in 2020. Additionally, Patriot Front has transitioned or has changed their tactic from using explicit anti-Semitic and white supremacist language into a larger, more bigoted language. Additionally, they're promoting a form of patriotism in order to embolden white supremacy, xenophobia, anti-Semitism, and fascism. One of the key takeaways here is the group's amount of planning and logistical organization in order to make this happen. We reported in the past that counter protests are some of the most concerning matters when it comes to larger protests. So this is concerning in that this group went to such lengths to go and disrupt a pride event in Northern Idaho. And moving on, I'll hand you off to Ross Hill.
Thanks, Raymond. Hi, everybody. So carrying on tracking of our monkeypox outbreak, now more than 1,000 confirmed infections in around 30 countries where outbreaks do not usually occur. And we're seeing the disease continue to spread. New countries with confirmed cases over the last week include Brazil and Greece. Also, some significant increase in the number of infections in locations such as Canada, France, Germany, Netherlands, Portugal. The UK in particular has seen a significant increase, as well as the United States. It is worth noting that we haven't seen any deaths from monkeypox, at least outside of Africa. In Africa this year, the death rate is around 4.7%, which is fairly high. But that's due to probably a number of different factors, like just the level of healthcare and identification and treatment of the disease being more difficult. But the outbreak is obviously yet to be contained. The US has bought an additional 300,000 monkeypox vaccines. Current stock is around 72,000, and it started shipping some of those vaccines to multiple states. That increase in purchasing might suggest something about some kind of concern about where the outbreak could go, or maybe just in anticipation that a wider vaccination program might be required. However, at the moment, vaccination's really only targeting close contacts of those with confirmed cases. Don't actually see any calls for a mass vaccination program at the moment. That could change if we start seeing more vulnerable parts of the population affected, children, pregnant women, older populations, that kind of thing, or if maybe we start to see a higher fatality rate than expected, although it doesn't seem the most likely scenario at the moment. But the US CDC did actually increase its travel alert level to level 2 for the disease, which is practice enhanced precautions. The CDC also actually initially advised travelers to wear masks, but it's since changed that advice. There seems to be some kind of dispute about airborne transmission of the disease and whether that's actually possible or not. But we've seen some reporting suggesting that given the current difficulty in containing the outbreak, might have to be a bit more of a focus on quarantine and isolation, but we don't really expect any widespread restrictions at this point. And then there's also increasing stigma around the outbreaks. That's because so many of the cases have been in men who have sex with men. That's actually a concern we talked about a few weeks ago with regards to hate crimes, but that's probably becoming more of an increasing risk now. But that's it from us this week. We hope you enjoyed the information and found it useful, and we'll see you again soon.